Hi, welcome to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. I'm continuing my theme of the backward pawn as a weakness, and I have a game here that is presented in Isaac Lipnitsky's classic Soviet text, Questions of Modern Chess Theory. It's a Soviet classic. It is an exceptionally good book. I haven't read all the way through it yet, but very good. This is by, the white player is Lisitsyn, and Mikhail Botvinnik, the world champion, is playing the black. The move Botvinnik made, you can see they are very heavily developed, and they're getting ready. They're in the middle game. They're past the opening. And to introduce the middle game, Botvinnik put his knight on that outpost right there. Now here is the comment. Black controls the whole board here. Now this is so vintage Botvinnik. If you get a chance, study Botvinnik's games. He is so good. I need to show more of him. I think he's one of the unsung Soviet greats that we Americans just haven't paid much attention to. He was strictly scientific in his chess. He was good. His preparation for chess they call legendary. I'm not sure what that means, but he was seriously good for a long time. Worth looking at. White cannot create the merest semblance of any counterattack. It's all black's baby from here. So let's see what happens. Queen goes to d1. Bishop comes to g4. The bishop takes that knight. That knight's too powerfully posted. You've got to get rid of the central posted knight, without question. And E takes d4. And what this does, the reason he took it with the E pawn instead of the C pawn is because he wants this open file to hit that backward pawn. So it does, it's real interesting that it does matter which pawn you take with, especially in this case. Had he taken it with this one, he would have been on the wrong open file. There's no backward pawn here, but there is here, so that's why he took it with that pawn to open up that file, so that he could have a direct possibility of attack and blocking that pawn. Because the weakness disappears if that pawn can safely advance. See, it's not weak. Ignore the black pawn for the moment. I'm just showing you. Here, it's weak. And the remarkable thing here is we are in the middle of the game. And he's got a backward central pawn. It's interesting that that's a backward central pawn. He shouldn't have left that pawn undeveloped, man. Now it's going to cost him. It's going to cost him big time. So, he is forcing his opponent. What Botvinnik is also doing, what he has done, is forced his opponent to capture the centralized black knight. Why did he do so? And why has he recaptured with the E pawn and not the C pawn? I just explained that. It exerts tremendous pressure on the backward E pawn with rooks. And again, remember in those videos, just these recent ones, I showed the really tight relationship with an open file and a rook using the open file and the passed pawn. It's the same thing with the backward pawn. The rooks go onto the open file to kill the backward pawn. That's why they select the file with the backward pawn. Not just any file will do. They want the file that attacks their opponent's weakness. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Right? It just helps us. There's so many little nuances in chess that strengthen your game. That's one of them to remember. You want to not only exchange with the correct pawn, you want to put your rooks on the correct file where your opponent's weakness is so that you can attack it. That's good chess. That's how we improve our games. Now we have a better understanding of which files to put our rooks. In the situation where you have a backward pawn, that's the file you want. That makes sense. As we see this unfold, we'll see why that makes really good sense. This is a textbook example of pressure against a backward pawn on C2. Oh, he says there is another textbook example of Alekhine against Tarish. This is the textbook example against a backward pawn of E2. Alekhine in his game went for the backward pawn on C2. In another game, Carlsbad, 1925. I'll probably show you that game. That would be a fun one to look at. So queen comes to D2. Yeah, quit talking and show us. Okay, yes. Bishop F8, he's clearing the file for the rooks. So that bishop move makes perfect sense. And my suspicion is he's going to want to double his rooks on that file. The weakness, to destroy the weakness is so tantamount in importance that you do double your file with the rooks. Fundamentally. And white knows it. So he protects as best he can his weakness because it's not safe to bump it up. This is a passed pawn in the making. Right now it affixes this pawn to remain a backward pawn. If he were to push it, it's going to mess up his king side really bad. It won't become a passed pawn. It's a potential one now. So Lisitsyn is in a tough situation here, is what I'm saying. And rook e8. Absolutely. Here comes the cavalry. And now h4. White's tragedy, Lipnitsky says, lies in the fact that he cannot get rid of his weakness on e2. If it advances, the reply d4 takes e3 will give him new weaknesses in the d file. And so he can eliminate that weakness, but he builds in other weaknesses simply because of the nature of how they've played this game at this point. So he's stuck with the weakness, and Botvinnik knows it, and he pushes it for all it's worth. Bishop goes to h3. Bishop comes to f3. Rook to e7. Here we go, doubling the rooks. That's very predictable at this point. Knight to h2. He realizes there's going to be a breakthrough to his king. He's trying like crazy to get ready for it. Notice who has the initiative. Really? Botvinnik is putting his pieces exactly where he wants them, and his opponent has to find places to put his pieces to defend against the imminent attack coming, because he has been saddled with a weakness. That means black has the initiative. Just keep that in mind. That's a good thing to recognize whenever we can. Rook c to e8. King, stay in there, buddy. King h1. And bishop to e6. Bishop comes back to e6. Now the bishop heads for the central square, d5. d3, he has an exclamation point here. White has nothing with which to oppose black's plan, so he resorts to traps. If now knight c3, if he does this knight c3 here, then e4, he instantly jumps up there. Then the weakness is gone. Doesn't matter if he takes him en passant or not. He gets rid of the weakness. So he's playing for traps because there's nothing else he can do, right? So now knight comes to b4, blocking this backward pawn. In an outpost on this side. Very interesting idea here. Bishop comes back to g2. Bishop to d5. That was the goal because now he's hitting the king, directly pinning the bishop to the king. It's not looking good here. Knight wants to go to f3. At this point, it's better that he loses the knight, gets a double control, and that weakness is a support now with that knight. So that's kind of an interesting strategy here, right? Rook comes to f7. He's going to apply more pressure, possibly running the... Well, I mean, otherwise, why is he doing that? He's going to run that pawn in, I would think. He temporarily relaxes the pressure on the e file so to bring his bishop on f8 into play. Another characteristic of the Grandmasters. This bishop isn't doing anything. Get him out here and have him doing something. They use all their pieces. This is a wonderful example of that. Don't leave any piece out in an attack. Use them all. You get to use them all in the start. Use them all in the middle and the end. Yeah. So this is good. King h2. Bumps up. Bishop to d6. Look at those central bishops. Holy swath of terror, Batman. Right to the king's side. The queen also. Those three, man. That whole side is under direct attack. You have two rooks on files. One hitting a serious weakness. And you've got a pawn to act as a battering ram to uncover the king. With wow. This is going to be a wipeout. You can see this bad news coming really quick. So he's got to do what he can. Bishop h3 hitting the queen, taking away the queen's influence here. At this point, temporarily, you got to dodge back. Rook a to b1. And now rook f to e7. Doubles up his rooks again. So now, taking pressure off of here, he's going to hit this weakness again. If he can break into this weakness, the craziest thing, it'll shatter black or white's position. It's just amazing how that works. So maybe it's time to now. Knight g1, bishop c7, knight a3, bishop b7. He's pulling his bishops out. But remember that one video I showed where the bishops moving don't lose tempi. They don't lose their influence. So here, they were extremely strong. Here, they are still extremely strong because they have lost none of their influence and capability of attack. Very good to know about bishops, yeah? Let me make sure my diagram's right. Yes. Okay, we're just about getting to the grand finale. Bishop comes down to g2. Yeah, you have to. I mean, you got no choice. You have to. If you're in this position, you have to start trading off some of those attacking pieces. Sincerely, you can't. He's got too much, man. He's got rooks on double file. He's got a queen here that's going to come down. And he's got two bishops and a knight over here keeping things under control. Yeah, this is brutal. This is really tough. And of course, the bishop will take it. Yeah, you got to exchange. You have to exchange at this point, and that puts the king over there on the g file, and that is not where he wants it. Knight to d5, that magnificent central d5 square that's played such a crucial key in this whole operation. Knight to c2, he's coming over 2. Queen d6, here comes the lady. And he's got a great central post right here. And he's still got this cotton picking weakness right here. Wow. Knight a3 again. Knight e3 check. Because of the e2 weakness, look at the outpost Botvinnik has. No, it's not a permanent outpost. It's a destroying one. Watch. If he takes it, he's got... Yeah, he can't take it. He can't take it. And he didn't. He went to king h1. Yeah, you can't even take the knight. This is incredible. And now he comes up to g4, holding on to these 2 squares, blocking off the king from escaping. When this breakthrough happens is what I'm thinking. I haven't played through this yet. I'm doing this cold turkey. I just wanted to... I saw the name Botvinnik and his discussion about backward pawns, and I thought that'll be a game I want to show as a video. So I'm as fresh with this as you are. My suspicion is he's going to break through here. We'll see, huh? Queen d6, knight a3, knight e3 check, knight g4, queen f4. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta swap pieces, man. You really do. The attack is way too strong. Botvinnik's position. Now see, here's the importance of positional chess shows up here. His position against a weakness doubled the rooks on the file. His position of a queen backed up by a bishop hitting toward the king side. His position of his pawn structure is so strong, and his position of this knight. Coming up here, the knight is hanging. So he is forcing, unless of course you could bump up to here. No, he just take the pawn. I don't know. Well, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, he swaps. And certainly Botvinnik, it doesn't hurt his attack to swap the queen either. This is only hurting his opponent. His opponent literally has no choice. He must trade down. He's being attacked with a superb position here. He must. And now look. Knight takes f2. Check. Holy cow. So king comes to g2. And knight takes d3. Ouch. In fact, that's where he resigned. Yeah. I mean, that's obvious why he resigned. Because he's going to really win when he does this. Yes, I'm kidding, I promise. So there's 2 videos showing you the idea behind backward pawns. Now understand something. I am giving you some sample games, some sample positions with passed pawns, doubled pawns, pawn chains, backward pawns in these videos. These are just introducing the subject. To really grasp the inner logic and inner workings of this, it helps to go through a lot of Grandmaster games if you can. But at least you're familiar now with the strategy if you have a backward pawn, and the strategy if you are fighting against a backward pawn. You're not as lost as you used to be. And that means I'm not either, even though I'm lost. I'm finding the map. I think it's a map of Yusupov and Lipnitsky and Silman and all of my other fabulous Alekins games and all those fabulous chess books that I have. So anyway, thanks for watching my Backyard Professor chess videos. I hope you're getting something out of these. I really enjoy making them. I enjoy all your comments and ideas. I'm trying to implement them as I can. I have a lot to do, but there's a lot of fun to be had. So, happy Chestercising, be good, do well, have fun, be happy, spread happiness, smile at people, be nice to one another. It is Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. Well, his birthday was already gone, but we celebrate it tomorrow. Remember, what made Martin Luther King Jr. the hero was his caring for the equality for humanity. His umbrella covered all humanity. That's the focus. So let's celebrate Martin Luther King Day tomorrow, and I will see you in the next video. I intend on making a few videos tomorrow too. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Woohoo!